All right, welcome everybody. I am Paddo, and with me is the one, the only Decepticle, my casting partner and pilot of the what is it, Project Zero? Is that what the Project Caliber Zero? Is that the mech that you drive?
Yes, it is.
Okay. We're gonna hop in here, play some games. I'm gonna ask them some questions, and then yeah, we'll go a little bit in depth later on. So, how did you get into CCG gaming?
Uh, Early on, way back when I lived in Michigan, in middle school, I bought an Ice Age pack of Magic cards,
Ooh.
and I didn't even attempt to try to read that stupid little instruction manual that was like 50 pages long that came in that box. And the first match I played against a guy in school, the guy swindled me out of all of my rares because they didn't identify what rares were. So I didn't know what cards did what. So
Oh
that was my
man.
introduction to card games right there.
And you stuck with it? My
To
next
be
big
honest,
question-
I've never been a big Magic fan.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. So, how'd you get into Duelist?
um, Duelist, on the other hand, I used to frequent a website called Fantasy Strike that's run by David Serlin. He creates games like Yomi and other stuff, if you guys have heard of that. And on there, they have a Kickstarter thread, and someone said, "Holy crap, check out this Kickstarter." And I saw it, and I immediately threw money at my screen, and it was exactly what I wanted. At the time, I don't want to digress into it too much, but, it was advertised as a different game, and I played a lot of Hero Academy, and it sounded like Hero Academy 2.0, so that was pretty hype.
Yeah, I heard a lot about Hero Academy referenced at least by a lot of players. That seems to be like one of the main draws of people when they saw this game, being like, "Oh, this is really cool." Um, so how long have you been you kickstarted it? Like, how long have you been playing, and how long have you been playing for?
I believe everyone got their invites on the 17th. I I got home late after work one night, and I actually just spent most of the evening getting my butt kicked in Yomi, and checked my email, and it said you've gotten into Duelist, and I loaded it up and cracked my packs, and no joke, within the first three packs I saw Tuskbor, or as we know him now as Pumbaa, because I named him, and I was hooked. The moment I cast Inner Focus, I was like, this is going to be my new favorite game.
Inner focus differ. I'm a Blade Seeker. So big.
See a lot of that guy.
What do you think about how a Blade Seeker? Actually, just to digress a little bit here, like it's a card I don't see a lot, but it's a really it's like a second sun that it dips and hits you back for 2, but it never is not an 8/8 unless it gets affected by spells.
Yeah, definitely. I've always thought it was a sweet card. It's like right on the verge of being good, but for a reason I'm about to show you guys, because I'm evil, I'll show you why the card is not good.
I may have to do something with you hitting that turn button. That's style points, though. Oh no! But I'm a Blade Seeker. Why'd you betray? Oh, I guess that's why. That's why. You don't
GG
play Blade
Vitor.
Seeker. So, how's the game evolved? Like since and by 17th you meant like December or?
Yes, this is December 17th.
Okay,
Sorry about
that
that.
was a day before my birthday. Damn, could be a good birthday present. Anyways, but like, so you is that like basically like the first wave of invites, or like when? Is that when like the first invite starts, or have you been playing this for as long as almost possible?
I'm fairly certain that was the first wave. I know a lot of people, like air quotes, like played on the forums and did correspondence stuff, but I'm pretty certain I got in with the first batch of people.
Okay, and
It could be wrong though, and if I am wrong, like feel free to call me out. Like,
yeah, and how does the game evolve since you've played it? Because I know like I know some backstory of how the game has evolved around you specifically playing, but like share that with everybody else that's gonna to check out this video.
so the biggest difference that people won't know early on is that strike back used to be a keyword that only existed on 3 dudes. In other words, like Like me running up and doing this, punching this guy in the face. I used to not take the strike back. That would have been a free trade right there, which led the game to be extremely. Wow, I can play it in the whole hand here.
Wow, that's
Love cast elemental.
he's like plasma storm. Plasma storm. No whammy, no whammy.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah, that would suck. What this led to though is that low cost units were way more valuable than high cost units because they could be buffed or rushed out and just kill a fatty without any return. So the game quickly devolved into just like spamming weenie units, and Songhai was pretty rough back then with Saber Spine and Inner Focus just killing stuff for free all over the place. And then I even asked the devs at one point, like, excuse me, what kind of impact did I have on the game? Because I climbed the ladder pretty quickly, and I asked some of them, like, if any of my playstyle like stood out to them that they didn't see on the dev environment. And apparently, I abused the living hell out of ranged units.
Yeah, so you're responsible in part for them being nerfed somehow?
Seems like it.
All right, so new hand rules dropped like recently in the patch. Like, so now, like, it used to be you get 4 cards, they all cycle whenever you play them because you draw back up to your full hand at the end of your turn. Now there's this brand new draw system. Like how has that changed your play?
So, I won't lie, I really enjoyed the old system a lot. Wow, double Dire Tide Frenzy on a Slither when I have 2 Heart Seekers in play. Interesting. Sorry.
Maybe he thought it had rush.
But to answer your question, I like the old draw system a lot. I realized it doesn't allow for as much growth as the system we have now, and that's really important. And I agree with the decision. It turns it more into a card game and a little less of a strategy game, but not by much. It just incorporates more of the card game mechanical things, which made me a little leery because I'm better at the strategy stuff than I am at card games in the past. But I think it was the right decision for Duelist, and I expect a lot of cool things to happen now that larger drops can survive for longer, and Rush isn't as I keep saying Rush instead of Aggro. Aggro isn't as abusable as it was before.
Yeah, I mean, like, this game is actually a perfect example of where, like, you dropped all these things, and if you had a Plasma Storm, you would have had to slowly build your hand back up. But in a lot of cases, like, you can still, like, play some form of aggro, right? Like, I mean, you're not necessarily hurting now at this point. Actually, you've won at this point, but yeah, like, I think like the kind of things you're saying right there, it's like big drops are more viable now because, like, since everything doesn't cycle, like, the actual, like, core value of the thing you're playing actually means more because, like, you're not just getting the card back. Where before, like, there was a lot of decks too, like I mean the deck the deck I posted on the forums, you played, like, most Lionar decks, like Orin's deck that he went with, they were all basically like you play like really tiny efficient dudes and you just cycle away. Like, you're just playing cards and getting them all back as fast as possible, basically. And that was basically the side that was like the abuse that won. And then, like, meanwhile, like, if you wanted to try to play like a control game, you usually just got overwhelmed because trying to play the stall game didn't work against those decks because they would just be so efficient at dumping and getting their hand back, basically. So what deck? So what deck do you currently main?
I'm playing my my mid-range sort of combo Songhai deck right now. It specializes in very high value inner focus targets, spirals, Pumbas, the usual Songhai stuff. Like, a lot of people say that sort of the staples of the faction include inner focus, Jade Monk, and Spiral, and those are all in my deck right now.
As they should be. Jade Monk, a former Lantern Fox. But like, so like that card, like even though Lantern Fox did come back, it's not the card I wanted. It's still cool. It's still fun. It's a fun card. But Jade Monk is like that. The actual card, like as a provoke unit, is what actually made me fall in love with the faction. So, yeah, like I love Jade Monk. Jade Monk is probably one of my favorite provoke units or favorite units in the game, just because it's like I like the randomness factor. I think it's fun to me.
I agree. Jade Monk is a really amazing card. Oh,
Oh wow!
I swear, my Chaos Elementals wish they were on high because they love to get in backstab positions.
Yeah, they're
right.
all over it.
See if I can draw out her ranged. I don't mind trading for that to get damage off me or possibly my Chaos Elemental. I love Flame Blood. You'll see me play a lot of Flame Blood.
What do you like most about Flame Blood? Does that feed into just kind of like your aggro need that you have?
He's aggro. He's a good. Sorry, he's good on the curve. If you want to use things like Inner Focus, one thing you'll know about my strategy is I love any and every excuse to deal damage to your dirty artifacts.
Oh yeah.
So he's an artifact answer, and I've always personally loved cards that deal damage to you for value. I was going to say earlier, the first card I ever crafted was the original Heartseeker, which was a 2/1 for 1 ranged that hit you for 2. And I was literally drawn to like having a power spike in return for the cost of my health. I've always liked that effect. I actually miss that. Although I also demonstrated how it doesn't work with a good old Common Blade Seeker. So there's good and bad with that mechanic for sure. Probably could have killed him if I played. Yeah. Oops.
I'm just distracting you. It's okay. Don't worry. So there's gonna be like wipes throughout the pre-alpha. There's a wipe coming up now. What do you plan to main on the next wipe? Are you gonna still be a Songhai player? Are you gonna change? What's your plan?
So since the beginning up till now, I have sort of cycled through the factions. I started as Songhai, then the wipe hit, and I jumped on Lionar, and then I got a little tired of that, so I moved to Magmar, and although I liked Magmar, that was even more boring than the Lionar deck that I made. So then I went to Vitruvian and had fun with Vitruvian, but that was during one of their spikies. But oh my god, I lost. Oh, I could have won last turn.
Wow.
GG, Stroblar TV. Maybe I'm on stream too. Wow, yeah, it's well played. So then I played Vet, and after that, during that whole time, I was making like little fun Abyssian decks for quests. So although I never got to play with the full strength of Abyss, I got pretty familiar with them. And the one thing that was always in the back of my mind is nothing grabbed me as my first moments as Songhai. So I've jumped back to them for the last tournament that we ran, and I've been loving them ever since. And unless something completely crazy happens on Tuesday, which would make me not like Songhai more, which I really doubt, I'm probably going to stick with them to the end.
What improvement or card change do you want to see? Whether it's in Songhai or outside the game, is there like a mechanic that needs to like be looked at? Like what change would you like to make?
The most selfish change, and I know it's not happening, but I'll always rest on the idea that I still want Inner Focus to be 0. It's crazy, and no one agrees with me, and I'm not even saying Inner Focus isn't powerful enough, but it's what I screamed and yelled about when it was nerfed, and I don't know. I really thought it was really neat as a 0-cost card. My joke about it is that if you're paying mana for it, it's not Inner Focus, Outer Focus. So clearly, by that logic, I cannot fail.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you can tell us anything about this, but I don't know if people know this, but you actually backed the Kickstarter for a substantial amount of money, and as part of that, you get to make your own card. So, can you tell us anything about this card, or is it still top secret?
I can't tell you too much. I can say the things that are general knowledge right now. Oh, I moved. Well, here, I'll kill him that way. That was my play all along.
Power of Songhai. I gotcha. Yeah.
So the general knowledge that I can tell you first is that none of us were allowed to make units for a faction, so the faction numbers aren't going to get skewed or their power levels aren't going to get flipped on their heads. That was never in the cards. So we're all making neutrals. They're all going to be epic level. My card, I tried to draw inspiration from games that I've played before. Like one of the earliest iterations, I tried to copy a card. Copy's not the right word, but be inspired by a card in a game called Pax Nora. That guy didn't work out. Another genre of games that I really enjoy, although I'm not talented in the slightest, is fighting games. So there's a little bit of fighting game in my character. I really wish I could go more into it. I will be doing a write-up when the card is released of the design process of all the things I'm allowed to say once he's known in the aspects of working with Eric and the other devs that I'm allowed to share. But some of the things, like, here's a horrible teaser for all you guys. One of my ideas was nixed because it was to Vanar, which they didn't even tell me what that meant. They just said, nope, to Vanar.
To Vanar.
And I was like, well, what does that mean? And all I got was a winky smiley face from Eric. And I was like, all right.
Shadow games. Gamesmanship right there. All right. So how many, I guess, I mean, Choir might just want to know, like, how many of there are you that get to make a unit, and how far along is everybody else that you know
of? There were 10 slots. I actually upped my pledge after the Kickstarter ended, but I noticed on the Kickstarter it said like there was one create a card slot open, and I messaged Keith and was like, I up my pledge, can I do that? And he said totally. I do know there's one guy who pledged enough to make 3 cards.
Oh wow.
I actually have only encountered him and 2 other guys that made cards, but there's like 3 other guys on the mailing list that I don't even know. So I've seen some of the other designs. They will definitely be shaking things up a bit. I don't know how far along they've come, though, because we all kind of catch Eric at different times. And yeah, I don't know too much about their cards, unfortunately.
Right, so like people like, what do you think? Like, if for new players that are getting into Duelist, what would your advice be to them if they want to like get good at the game quicker, or if they want to level up quicker?
The first rule for everyone is always replace as your best friend, and seriously, like the best, most forgiving system in a card game ever. Like, if the draw changes happened and we didn't have replace, I would have been much more upset about it. But because we have replace, like, the tools are given to you to handcraft and to make your plays stronger and more efficient. And the sooner you get used to replacing first and figuring out what cards are valuable. Oh, hey. Sorry, I keep interrupting myself. Definitely learn how to replace. Try to learn how to use space as best as you can. Learn to drop units and arrays that make it more difficult for the enemy to come over and kill your guys. One of my favorite things to do is, if it's a unit that isn't acting immediately, don't place the unit directly next to what can kill it. Make them move for it, because the more you get them to like move their units apart, usually you can maneuver around them easier. If you let them bunch their units together, you can get yourself trapped. You lose a lot of spatial advantage. So a thing I just like to do is summon units behind me. And even though they have a guy on board that can just waltz over and kill it, I can then maybe maneuver behind that guy and summon guys in a better position. So if you have to summon a guy and you know he's going to be dead, make them work for it. Don't just hand it to him, so to speak.
Right on. So with that, let's dive into kind of more of like a teaching session. Like I want to give like new players like insight into the mind of like someone that's been playing a long time. So let's jump into this next game. And this next game, like, just walk through your process of like of what you're placing, why you're placing it, why maybe you move. Like we want to hit those details of like why you placed the unit here, what you're thinking when you do it, and like feel free to just like stream of consciousness it out and kind of like walk us through this next upcoming game.
You got it. Should be fun. All right, so first thing I know is I'm playing against Vitruvian. Vet units tend to have a pretty big amount of health. So things like, even like a spiral technique doesn't take out obelisks, which can be frustrating. I don't want spiral technique on the play. Units fire. I don't want to miss a drop because Vitruvian has the sort of ramp advantage, and that's a terrible draw. Really bad draw. So let's see if we can make this happen. Before you move, you should always replace. That was me being sloppy. All right, this I can do something with. So I'm gonna drop my Flame Blood here. Try and go to one of these two squares so you can at least try to make a move for the mana. You drop your guy right here. He can't reach. He can reach their mana globe, but it's extremely unlikely that it's still going to be there. So I usually go for the bottom node. Ooh, that's some good stuff. I have options now. All right, let's see what he drops. Pyro, close range Pyro. Interesting. All right, so looking at what I have now, when you're in a position like this, typically you want to try and figure out the best way to kill their minions, but also, since I play aggressively, I want to try and get both of these mana globes if I can. So I think my strategy is going to drop this Wisp here. Oh, I like these cards, by the way, so I'm going to hang on to these. I don't plan on replacing right now. Pumbaa here. Pumbaa trades really effectively with this guy. He can take the hit, and it still takes 2 to kill him. And then trade Flame Blood for his 6 damage that he's dealt them now. They're at 19, so one reason I really like Flame Blood is if he gets in, like, again, that guy cost me 2 core. I just did 6 with him.
Yeah, it's really efficient damage for you.
He's, in a way, he's kind of like Tuskar, but not always for the same uses. But I used to use Flame Blood in replace of Tuskar, and now I just use both. All right, so he's taking out my Wisp. He didn't deal with my Pumbaa, which is interesting. In fact, Pumbaa can actually eat this guy. Usually this guy is a nightmare for Songhai because you can't drop spells on him, but I will gladly Pumbaa him to death. Alright, again, I'm actually okay with my hand. I have a life lead, so Flame Blood is definitely in my favor. This burst could close the game for me really easily, so I'm comfortable with hanging on to that. I would prefer it was a inner focus. And if I was behind, I would replace for an inner focus, because inner focus is a great card to use to catch up. But right now, I'm actually pretty confident. I'm going to drop my provoke unit, and then. Oh yeah, another thing that's important. Since you're playing it's really relevant. Since you're playing against Vitruvian, they have a lot of units that use blast that hit in straight lines. So you want to taper out your guys, but see if it happens. They have another spell called Star's Fury, which puts a dervish in front of every unit that has a space in front of it. So it's a neat sort of. They try to mess with all the angles and try to get you to spread your guys out in different ways and then punish you for it.
Yeah. So what? So if you're playing against like, if I know that they have a Star Sphere in their hand, like I just have that amazing gut instinct. Like, how would you position your guys to not basically get wrecked by Star Sphere? Ooh, the
slave.
Yeah, I mean, so Slave on a Jade Monk is pretty strong. Luckily, he doesn't get to swing at you with it. So how are you going to go about dealing with this jerk?
So I can actually do something pretty fun here. Um, yeah, I can do this. I'm gonna drop this guy here, Pumbaa behind him, and this sweet little spell juxtaposition. Now he gets to play with the Chaos Elemental, which will kill him, and the Chaos Elemental gets to move. And now I get to move my guys back into position and hit him in his face. So now these guys are tied up. He's not in range to hit me, and he's got some trouble brewing for him.
I would say so.
I love Chaos Elemental. I joked that Chaos Elemental and Flame Blood are honorary Songhais because they're both on fire, even though they're neutrals. The Flame Blood guy's even wearing like samurai armor.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of units like that. I mean, even Dagger Kiri, like he's very much like seems like he could totally be a Songhai unit. And then like you have like even though what's his face, the Eternal dude is
Sarlacc.
Yeah, Sarlacc the Eternal is like pretty much clearly like an Abyssian unit. He's a neutral. He's a neutral unit as well.
There's the I think she's a 4/3. I haven't used her in a while. There's that archer girl with red hair.
Oh
and,
yeah.
She was Lionar back when this game was put up on Kickstarter. She was the Lionar ranged unit before that apparently didn't remain as part of Lionar's identity. They want to get up close and beat you in the face. They don't want no ranged. All right, close this out with a spiral. And we'll let Pumbaa take the glory. I like what Pumbaa do.
Oh yeah, eat your soul.
I like the new Reverie when you win a game. That thing's really cool.
Yeah, let's do one more game. There's more to talk about.
I named my deck Here's to Another, which is a Smile Empty Soul song that I really like, for those who are curious.
You have some good deck names, actually.
Thank you. Oh, hey, what's more appropriate than the Songhai stage? I really like this environment. It's cool if they fight in water, although that seems incredibly bad to cast Spiral Technique in. All right. One thing I do, inner focuses are like pure gold. I almost never replace them unless I have two. But you want this card. It does everything. I'm really happy to have a crawler. He's a perfectly good turn one play. I'm just going to replace the Juxt. All right, since I have a turn one play, Heartseeker is something I have in the deck that she hasn't actually gotten a lot of use for me. I used to, back in the day, really enjoy dropping her and inner focus and sniping some guys for some free damage when she was a 2/1. So yeah, I just have her to like round out my curve to get Spiral. Hate drawing Spiral on the play. Double Juxt. I only have two in here. This Spectral
Whoa,
Blade.
whoa! That's an
Aggro.
aggressive Abyssinian play you don't see every day.
I like how I don't think they need to make another animation for it, but I like how she still walks the
Yeah.
distance.
I am going to fly, but really I'm just gonna walk really fast.
All right. Ooh,
Very
this
heavy
is
hand.
this is the Wombo. All right. So she's just gonna flit around and cause me anguish. So sadly, I don't have any way to distract her. Oh, we can have an artifact battle now. This would be fun. Yeah. So here's an example of me behind.
Yeah. And a lot of this too, though, is the fact that like that last turn, you just hit all your high curve cards basically. So I mean, you have really powerful damage combos, and you have a full hand now to do whatever you want with. But again, like it's just a bunch of high cost like stuff.
Ew. Wraithling Storm. All right. All I can say is rude. So take the least amount of damage. I don't need a Jux right now. You're not. All these cards coming to my rescue. All right. So guess I'm gonna hit her for 3 to take a piece of her artifact off. Then I'm going to put on this mask, run over, knock off her sword so her flying shenanigans can take a rest, and then try and gain some distance from these wraithlings and beat up her ranged unit. And then that freed up 2 cards so I don't miss a draw. That's one thing that's kind of important with the new draw system is do your best to not miss a draw. All right, so I have some really scary burst options now. Like if I can get to turn 6 or 7 with Dagger Kiri, he can deal 16 damage with the cards I have in my hand.
Seems pretty good. Seems pretty good.
Fair and balanced is what I like to call that. So now he's going to trade his Wraithlings into me and create more Wraithlings with the Priestess.
So a lot of his turn actually was spent into this priestess though, and you have an answer in your hand. So this is probably good for you.
Yeah, I'm feeling better now. I'm gonna spiral tech. Oh, you are still not very excited. Oh,
Oh wow.
all right then. That is a valid target. Don't lie to me.
Sometimes the game just likes to lie.
Now what I gotta be careful about. Oh, definitely make sure. One thing that's super important in this game is action order. I could have made the mistake and killed this guy first, which I planned to do, but if the priestess was still alive, she would have just gotten another wraithling and it would have been for moot. So pay careful attention to the actions you turn in, or you could cause you'll take more damage or they'll have more guys, and it's really important to watch that kind of stuff. You just
Heartseeker really wants to be played, bro. Like you have the combo, you have 8 damage combo in your hand for 4 core. It's pretty good.
It's true.
It's the dream.
I like how she has like the little hair buns, and then she apparently has a tail. Like that's a full blown tail. She's some kind of like mousy catty looking thing.
She reflects herself, she's cute. Oh, there's Shadow Dancer. So Shadow Dancer, so like that's so the fact that you cleared out the Wraithling before actually helps out a lot for you in that case, because like that would so you took the 1 damage instead of taking 2 basically, or 3 essentially is what it would have been because of Shadow Dancer.
For sure. So now the biggest threat on the board is that Shadow Dancer. So I gotta try and figure out how to kill that guy. Which I have a couple of responses. But I guess we have to wait.
Dude, hey, I forget my turn sometimes too. Like it happens. It happens.
For sure. You can admire the scenery with the little fireflies. Pagoda. I really like this map a lot, and not just because Songhai, although that is relevant. But this blue symbol keeps making me think it's a button or something. Okay, so I can't get as close as I thought. All right. So hilariously, the solution to this problem actually is the Heartseeker. She wanted to be played because she was the answer.
She was the answer to all the problems.
Now, I almost swung at this guy first and would have taken 3 damage instead of 1. Could have been really bad.
Juxtaposition just really wants to be played, bro.
Yeah, it's true.
But the cool part about Juxtaposition being free in this case, like, there's the potential that like she could try to hide behind minions and corner herself off and make it harder for you to get in. But in this, Shadow Nova. Shadow Nova is a very all-in play.
All right.
There's no other cores to follow this up with. How's he down to 10?
Let's see what I draw. I don't see that. Get rid of you. Oh, brother. You had your. All right, I'm actually just gonna go to face. Oh, ooh, actually, if she drops another Shadow Nova and auto attacks me, I'm gonna die. Running forward was not the right play. Come on, my mouse has this weird double click issue. All right, let's hope she does. They don't have the Shadow Nova, or I'm out of here.
Dang you, Juxtaposition. Should have many. Heartseeker eventually got used. Juxtaposition still. Poor guy.
It's cards in hand.
Probably replacing
also
Shadow Nova 2.
I'm also used to just getting double assassined out. Assassin. Oh. Come on, kill my dagger, Kiri. Ooh. Oh, there's hope. There's hope.
Oh, the dream is alive. The dream is alive.
Yeah. Woo! All right, we got there.
Void Pulse. Not gonna do it.
All right, I'm not gonna mess around or do anything silly. I'm just gonna end this. Well played. Good stuff. Victory. I love the fighting game announcer.
All right, well, that wraps it up, man. Do you any shout-outs that you have to people watching?
I want to shout out to everybody who catches out on my stream. It's been fun, and I plan on doing it a great deal more. I want to thank the devs for just all the hard work they put into this game and every patch that makes it better. Shout outs to my good friend Umbrella. He's been one of the best friends I've made while playing this game. Actually, I appreciate everything we've done, Paddo. It's been great getting to know you and run stuff with you, and I hope to do more fun things like this and more. So thanks for, teaming up with me and everything. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Well, likewise, man. So thanks a lot for taking the time out here to do this with me, and hopefully we get to have some more fun adventures as this game evolves.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, everyone.